What's up, everybody? Welcome back to our channel. I'm Bree.
And I'm Evan.
And this is Reality Check TV. Here is where we discuss some of our favorite reality shows to watch together as a couple. So if you love reality TV like we do, make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell so you can get notified anytime we post a new review. What's going on, beautiful people? Welcome back. I hope that you had a great Valentine's Day yesterday. We did. It's still going. Yeah. First of all, let's acknowledge the red hair. Y'all let me know if you're feeling the red hair because I'm struggling with it. And I just decided to do it for the video to see if I'm feeling the color, right? This is an experiment. Y'all tell me, y'all be honest, let me know. Do we like the red? Do we like the red? I'm more of a blonde, brown type of girl. That's my go-to. So this is new. But I had to do something different for Valentine's Day. So I don't know. Y'all tell me what y'all think. But anyways, I hope that you still have the Valentine festivities still going. Okay? I know everybody pretty much probably had to work yesterday. And they got to work today. So the weekend is really when it's going to get popped off, right? But we are in the mood to talk about all things love. We want to talk about all of the shows. I think it is a coincidence that most of the shows that we are reviewing right now has something to do with love, right? Unfortunately, this one doesn't to me. This is actually opposite of what the title is. The name of the show is called Ready to Love, and yet that's not what's happening at all. At all. This show is extremely negative, and yeah.
Ready to waste your time.
Yeah, y'all. Are y'all watching this show? Let us know, because y'all know we was honest with y'all. We said this was like a little experiment, right? So we did our first review. What was that? A couple of weeks ago, because I know we were gone last week. Because we did one video on like the cast, right?
Oh.
Yeah. But we said in one of them reviews that we wanted to kind of see how you guys are feeling the show or this season, if you guys are watching, and that will determine if we keep reviewing, right? Like I said, we took a break last week because it was Evan's birthday. If you didn't watch our Love and Marriage DC review, we talked about all of that. So make sure to go back and watch that review to get all of the details on that. But I'm just not feeling this show, y'all. I don't know how long we can give authentic, genuine reviews without feeling like we're coming up here every day or every week, just repeating ourselves with the same thing, because some of the things that we are complaining about are things that are not going to change. I feel like that is the tone of the show. And I think there's a different motive than what the title is saying and how they advertise this show. I think there's a different motive for it. And I'll get to that a little bit later. But let us know if you are still watching and give us your comments on how you're feeling about this season so far. On that note, let's get into the last 2 episodes of Ready to Love. And we'll give our general, opinion on some of the things that happened. We're going to fly through it, y'all, because, yeah, it was hard. It was a hard watch. It's been a hard watch. But here we are. So you ready?
Whew, let's dig in.
Let's get into it. Okay, so episode 4. About to just hit those little bullet points, okay? It was the ladies' week. They are in power. The theme for the week is intimacy. So everything was intimacy conversations. I personally feel like it was a little bit too early to have this theme in the process, but I digress. It doesn't matter what I think because they are continuing to do what they want to do. Then we have a new guy that joins the group. He's a PE teacher. His name is Justin. I think he's from Texas, born and raised. No, he's from Mississippi. He's all right. We gonna put him in a category like we did with everybody else at the beginning.
No, not yet.
Yeah, it's kind of too hard or too early to tell. I'm gonna really just kind of put him in the yellow. I really should put him in the red where everybody else on this cast is sitting right now. But again, I digress. Next, we have Lamar went home because he made women uncomfortable. Maya tried to get to know him and everything went back to sex. That's literally what I have in my notes.
Well, that's
what I have.
That's every woman's experience with him. Everything led to physical touch and sex.
Yes. That's what I got.
And threesomes, open relationships.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, just about everything.
Yes. He is a pervert. I think he's very he's this old man that is just really disgusting. He didn't belong on this show. He doesn't belong on any show except if it has anything to do with therapy. There we go. Okay. Good luck, Lamar, with your life. Next, we have Mika grills Jonathan about his ex-wife situation and picking up on his sneakiness. That's literally what I got, y'all. I'm reading y'all my notes from these last 2 episodes. And then we'll just talk about it from there. Okay, so one thing that we learned about Mika in last week's episode is that she was a teen mother. Mm-hmm. She said, quote, I've been having children since I was 18. Now, I don't think she should have said it in that way because I'm like, girl, well, how many kids you got? Like, I ain't know what she meant by that. But anyway, I still don't know how I feel about her all the way. To be quite honest, there is nobody on this season that I like. Just being 100% transparent with you all. The whole season is problematic to me. The whole show is. But Mika, I still don't really know. I think I low-key want to keep some of my assumptions to myself of the vibe that I'm getting from her. But what I will say is that she is not being passive when it comes to these men. She is very stern and not moving with what she wants, right? Like, she has been very upfront with all of these guys that she has talked to about not having kids. She's very clear on that. So I appreciate that because she's letting them know early. I appreciate that. And it seems like she's very intuitive because that word or how she described Jonathan was the perfect word. And I should have said that in our very first review for this season with like putting everybody in the categories. When she said that he was sneaky, I was like, that's it. That is it. I mean, he's a lot of other things. And again, we'll get to that later. But sneaky was the word that I was looking for when I was describing how he was moving during the mixer when we first met him. To me, how he was presenting himself at that meet and greet or mixer, whatever they're going to call it, it was sneaky. I could just tell something. I couldn't put my finger on it, but something about him just didn't sit right with me. And now that it's been a couple of episodes in, I know exactly what it is. And I see what's happening here. And she's absolutely right. He was not open or honest about the whole ex-wife situation. And just like she's confused, I'm confused. Because I feel like he has said in 30 different ways that he has an ex-wife, but like Mika said, I don't know if the ex-wife is still his baby mama. And were you guys really married? Were you legally married? Like, it seems very ambiguous as like the whole situation. He also got offended with people asking him about his last relationship.
How dare you ask me about my last
relationship? It's something about it is just not sitting right with me. It's making my stomach hurt. I don't like it. So she was on when it came to that one. Next, Laylan leaves. She says that she had a family situation that she needed to tend to. More power to you, girl.
Flag on the play. I don't know, it was a family issue or she just said, all these dudes ain't shit.
I think it was
I'm wasting my time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm better off hopping on the dating app.
Mm-hmm.
These dudes are crooks.
Mm-hmm. I agree with Evan. That's my feeling. Girl, I'm not trying to say you lying, but girl, good for you. Good for you. Get out. You don't want to stay here wasting your time. No.
She saw the circus.
Right. Okay, so now we're going to get to the real meat and potatoes of episode 4. And this is the way it ended, right? It ended with the women in the women's lounge. And of course, they're going over all of the guys that they have connections with, who they want to save, and who's on the chopping block, right? And so we start the conversation off with Will.
Willie.
Oh, Will.
Caesar.
Oh, Will. So Patrice, is that her name? Patrice or Patricia?
Patrice
says that, you know, her least connection is Will. That she said that when they was on the phone one night, he said that he was doing some staging of houses. So I'm assuming he's in real estate.
He is. He's a real estate developer.
Okay, so he was staging some houses, and she said when they're on the phone, he said, I'm just going to go ahead and make a pallet on the floor or something along those lines, right? Whatever he said, it made her feel like, do you have a home? Do you have a bed? What's going on here? Like, why are you sleeping on the floor of your houses that you're showing, right? So she shares that with a group of ladies. Now, you all know Alexis is the main one out of this group that has the strongest connection with Will. At this point, Koshia chimes in, and she also talks about how Will has made her feel uncomfortable in different interactions that she's had with him. We saw that in the very first episode, where they're talking, and all of a sudden he judges her for being married to a guy that she didn't know that he had other kids. And then he tries to like follow her on social media. It was just this weird interaction between the two. We've talked about that before. And she said that there was a few other interactions with him that made her feel uncomfortable, right? So then she says, on top of that, I also found out that Alexis has been going back to Will and telling him all of the things that we have discussed in the ladies' lounge, and telling him, like, basically giving him a heads up on, you know, what the ladies are saying and how they feel about him. Alexis then takes it upon herself to say, again, got my notes here. Alexis says that she just has a problem with every man. She said they know who to play with because she leads with sexual energy.
In which Koshia came back and said, you know, it was very random, saying you're shaped like a 12-year-old.
She said that before she said something about the sexual energy, because that was Alexis's response. Here's my thing. Both of you hoes is wrong, right? Let me say this. First of all, Koshia is off her rockers. I've said that from day one. Something about her just ain't right. But what I will say, though, I'm going to always give credit where credit is due. For the last 4 episodes, this lady has had some of the most strangest interactions with a lot of these men, and she has called them out and has been able to articulate exactly what they're doing and what is going on. So that whole interaction that she had with old boy, what's his name? The one with the dreads that you don't like.
Lonzo?
Yes. That whole interaction right there is a prime example, right? Prime example. Do I think she crazy? Yes. Do I think she's a pygmy? Yes. Do I think that something about her just don't sit right with me? Yes. But at the same time, she's been right. And in this situation, at the end of the day, that's her opinion. That's been her experience with Will. And then here you go with Alexis, right? You bring your ass into it. First of all, bitch, I feel bad because I put you in my green section at the beginning of this season. And I knew I would regret at least one person that I put in that green section. And I regret the Alexis decision. I should have seen right through it. Because, bitch, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? forget this whole girls thing, whatever. A lot of women are, and it is what it is. But that had to be some of the most disgusting shit I've ever heard another woman say to another woman on this show. As far as like, oh, they know who to play with because you're giving off sexual energy or whatever she was trying to allude to. That's pissed me off. Because here you go again. We always got to have one woman each season that want to have the cape on to save all of these broke, busted, pointless, insecure, abusive, foolish men that they put onto this show. You always got to have one woman. Remember Sue? What was it? What did they call her? Sue, something Sue? I forgot what old girl called her. Forgot. But she was like, there she go. Like, when she want to protect the men at all costs. And that is the role that Alexis has decided to play. These men are disgusting. And you are really sitting here sticking up for them in this segment. And my thing is, at the end of the day, you trying to challenge another woman's experience that they are having with these men is ridiculous to me. Specifically Koshia, because a lot of her interactions with these guys have been on camera. We have seen it. Right? It's not like just a bunch of hearsay. In all fairness, Patrice, what she said, we weren't privy to that conversation. That was clearly a personal conversation that they had off of the show one night. And that was her version of the story. But I believe what she said because of how she said it. And it was a very specific story. Alexis, bye, girl. Goodbye, girl. I also feel like that whole interaction between the two of them, it was also given scripted and fake. I didn't like it, which will come back to that point at the end of this video because that's going to speak to how I feel about the motive of this show. But foolish. Shame on you. Shame on everybody. This is just ridiculous. So now moving forward to the next episode from last week, and now they're having a PJ party, right? So everybody's going to this mansion in their pajamas. It's a little mixer happening. And of course, because of coming off of the week prior, Wills found himself in the bottom, right? Based off of, again, the other women's experiences. And he felt away. He was pissed. Not felt away. He was pissed. He was like, that who said I was sleeping on the floor? Right? Like, he was mad. So he comes to the pajama party on a mission. He said, I'm trying to figure out who said that. And he comes in with his fake chain and his fake bracelet. And I'm going to say bracelet. Fake That's everything. What it is. It was fake everything. He like, I'm here to prove a point. I ain't broke. I am not broke. To the point where he finally was able to find the corporate. That was Patrice. So he's like, oh, I found her. Now I got it. Because he had a whole method, y'all. He said, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to just talk to everybody and be like, yeah, like, that's crazy. I heard that somebody said I was sleeping on the floor. And he was like, based off of their reaction, that's how I'm going to find out who said it. Mm-hmm. And Patrice, she did fall for it. She answered it. She was like, well, when we had a conversation, you did make it seem like, you were sleeping on the floor at one of those houses. And then he's like, oh, I found her. He was like, I'm a multi-millionaire. Nigga. Not you a multi-millionaire. Not you a multi-millionaire. All ready to love.
Well, his monopoly money.
That's what I wanted to ask. I was like, multi-millionaire, what?
Man, short people and they temper problems, man. So also on this episode, we had a little issue with LaRon and Koshia, in which LaRon was in his feelings because he claimed that Koshia was too busy smiling and laughing at other men's face and not giving him the attention he feels he deserves because he feels like they're each other's number one. My observation the whole time, it seems like LaRon, like, I don't know if you're playing the shy guy, like, y'all all in the same house. Like, not once did I see him go up and, participate with Koshia interact with her. Like he's just literally drinking his drink. You know, he gives all his attention to food. The catfish. We're gonna call him the catfish man. We're not calling him LeBron no more, by the way. But anyways, the whole time he's just looking at Coach interact with other people. And my thing is, dude, you signed up for a show where pretty much every episode's like a dating mixer. You guys are going to interact with other people. What did you think was going to happen with your party ass from Wednesday to Sunday? So that led to a confrontation they had at the, I don't know if you want to call it a dining room table, dinner table, I don't know. But pretty much at the table, I believe it was Chaz, Koshia, LaRon, and I want to say Vanessa was there. I want to say it was them four first.
Well, at first, it was nobody. At first, it was just LaRon. Is it LaRon? Is that his name? LaRon and Koshia. They were talking. And then people started to kind of walk in. And then Maya. Yeah. Maya was the first girl that was over there. Right. And then that's when it went in a different direction.
So, you know, LaRon tried to address Koshia at the table about, you know, his displeasure about how she's acting. He feels like she's, like, changed up on him. Not interacting with him, like she's ignoring him, blah. You know, because she returns back saying, you know, hey, you know, I'm just going through the motions, you know, this is the experience, you know, blah. And then Maya comes, sits down, and wants to crack a little joke at LaRon, talking about party boy. And LaRon hops up and goes, it looks like he's playing around, trying to put his hand over Maya's mouth and whatnot. But then that pissed Koshia off.
The whole interaction at this point, because even when she was walking up, she was saying, "Oh, LaRon, like I'm mad at you because you said I eat too much." Or it was like they were like there was banter and they was playing with each other, and then that's when she called him the party boy and he hopped up. Y'all really just have to see the episode to get what I mean by. It was such a like juvenile response. It reminded me of like multiple moments that I experienced or seen when I was like in college and like we all in the dorm or we kicking it in the student union. The way he responded, he basically didn't respond like an adult.
Well, for him,
grown man
it
would.
Seemed like he just cannot stay focused on the issue at hand. Like
it was extremely immature.
Like the thing is, you're coming at this woman. I would say accusations or trying to say how she's acting. Yeah. But during the interaction, you break away to go interact with another woman. Right. And play around with her. Right. And this is a grown woman that you're talking to across from you, trying to have this conversation with you and trying to get to the bottom of this. And even Koshia was like, I'm dealing with a child. Yeah. She's like, in that moment, she realized that she was dealing with a child. And that's what I'm talking about. Koshia be right. When she's right, she's right. When she's wrong... Because now let's talk about where she got wrong, where it went to a different direction for me. So at this point, Koshia has a very weird response to me. She says, she starts crying. And she says, you know, I'll just sit here and sulk in my misunderstanding and let you chastise me. I'm going to assume she was trying to be sarcastic, but I didn't like the way it was coming off, specifically when she said, I'll just sit here and sulk in my misunderstanding and let you chastise me as she's crying. I did not, it was just like not a good look. Maybe one of you guys can articulate it better. It just was like you was losing your own power in that moment. And I did not like that. Like, you're at a table with a bunch of people that do not wish you well. Like, let's be very clear. And then this man who is a whole clown and a 3-year-old who does not care, right? And I just felt like that gave him a sense of control over the conversation. And I think he was able to see that he has some type of an emotional toll over you. An emotional hold. I said toll. An emotional hold over you. I didn't like that interaction. There was different ways that she could have responded in that way. I know that she really likes LaRon, and that is a red flag off rip. The fact that you would be attracted
to someone like him, because it's very obvious that this man is not ready to be in a relationship with someone, specifically a serious relationship. He's just extremely immature, and that has nothing to do with his age. It's the mentality for me, and he has proven that since we've met him. Like, going around constantly promoting how he is a party boy, and then in the last 2 episodes getting mad at everybody for saying that he's a party boy. You literally said that in your opening intro, and you decided to give production footage of you in a bathroom with girls twerking. Like, what did you? It doesn't make sense. Math is not math in there. So the guys pull LaRon outside to have a conversation with him. This is Chaz and the new guy, Justin. And Chaz was making sense. Like, he was telling him basically, like, you're a man, and like, one of our biggest issues is listening. You need to learn how to listen and hear what she's saying. Again, very on the surface, good advice. Again, I think that Chaz seems to be somewhat, like, a little bit sane, unlike the rest of his castmates. And it seems like Justin might be somewhat sane as well. So it just was a hot mess.
So y'all, adults being adults, at some part they decided to play a game. I think it was their version of Truth or Dare, but I forgot what it was called.
Truth or Sexy.
Truth or Sexy, yeah. To kick off, we had Chaz. He pulled Patrice. He tried to do this seductive thing where he grabbed her hand and pulled her over to him, and he got in a knee and asked her, who's the most sexiest?
Who's the sexiest guy?
Who's the sexiest guy? She was just like, oh, Chaz, blah, 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 yay. All that stuff. And so the biggest player in this Truth or Sexy game was Jonathan. Mr. Red Flag himself, Mr. Shady, Mr. just everything in the book himself. So his thing was to select his strongest connection, and he was supposed to whisper something sweet, whatever, in her ear. And Jonathan, before doing it, he had his little confessional saying, I already got some drinks in my system. I'm feeling good. Let's get it. So the most cringiest part of this whole season so far, Jonathan goes up to Alexis, scoops her, sits her down on his lap, got his hand
sits him down on his lap. He had her straddle him.
Straddle, my fault.
Yes.
Straddle him.
Yes.
While he's all up in her ear.
Yes.
And she felt so uncomfortable. We all felt uncomfortable, actually, because it was just like,
you could see the discomfort.
Yeah.
In her body. You could see it. And that's the type of shit I'm talking about, Alexis. That's why your ass shouldn't be out here and trying to judge other women's and their experiences with men. Because look at the type of shit that's happening to you right now. Because you could tell her ass was so uncomfortable.
Yeah. So, she was uncomfortable. It was a bit weird, too sudden, too much, actually. Jonathan, like I said, you're showing us your cards every day, man. Keep it up. You'll be back on that couch sooner than you know it. That's how the game ends. But after the game, I think it was, the guys met up to try to figure out, of course, talk about who the strongest connections were, who was going home, blah, blah, blah. And what ended up being the final two at the bottom was Mika and Koshia. And let me give y'all disclosure about Mika, too. Why not to be surprised about why Mika's in the bottom. Because I know she's been a little quiet recently outside of trying to investigate Jonathan and his past. So Mika, she has two kids. I forgot the ages. Is it 2 boys?
I don't know.
I think it was like 2 boys. But pretty much, when she's talked to all the other men, she lets it be known, I'm not interested in having children. I have my 2. I'm not interested in having any more. And pretty much all the men except one, and we'll get to the one, have expressed that they want kids. So Mika really left their radar. But she found a surprising connection with the new guy, Justin. Because Justin, who is 34, PE teacher, let it be known while they were talking that, he wants kids, but he's not pressed. At his age at 34, he's at peace if he does not have any children. But he's fine with her having 2 kids already. So for her, she was very happy about that. She kind of felt like relief. This is the first guy that's actually okay with it. But you can feel relief all you want, but it got you in the bottom too because majority of the men you can't connect with. So, like I said, it ended up being Mika and Koshia. Who was the person down there again who was giving the speech?
It don't matter.
Okay, it don't matter. But pretty much, it was Cliff Hung.
Doesn't matter.
We didn't see who went home. It was Cliff Hung.
Cliff Hung.
Cliff Hang, whatever. Cliff Hung, whatever.
It was Cliff Hung.
So, we're meant to see next episode this Friday, tomorrow, about who went home, despite OWN does not do a good job with their previews and their commercials. Because if you pay attention to them, you can tell who went home.
Well, one thing you forgot to mention is as far as Jonathan being drunk. And I wanted to point that out because that's a big part of this as far as his actions and how inappropriate they were. And his delusion as well of trying to say that his strongest connection is Alexis. He said that at the beginning of the episode, and Alexis was shocked because she doesn't feel the same way. And you can tell that they haven't had many interactions, but all of a sudden he's saying like, he's falling in love with her type of thing. It was delusion, but I also feel like it's a part of his bigger scheme. He definitely gives scam, like as a person, like he just gives scammer. But that, to end that, it goes to my overall point. I want to talk to OWN real quick. Let me bring the mic over here. OWN. Will Packer. I hope you're listening. Y'all, I think I said it at the beginning. We are here for y'all, right? We want to see if you guys are watching this show or interested in hearing our commentary on the show. And, that's why we're here. That's why we're doing it. Because if I had my choice, this is not a show that I would be watching. I don't appreciate, nor do I like what it stands for, and what it's turned into. And maybe this has been the case since day one, right? We've been very honest. We are not day ones of Ready to Love. This was a new show for us that we started watching maybe like a year ago. And because we were reviewing a couple of other shows on the network, we felt like it was only necessary. And it's a show about dating. We're a couple that talks about reality TV, so it worked. But there's a few things that's going on here, right? First of all, it goes without saying, I know that all of you guys feel like the caliber of women that they have or they cast on this show never matches the caliber of men that they cast on this show. That has been the consistent theme every season. This, to me, is the worst season, right? Because at least with the past season, we can have at least like two guys that we can be like, oh, okay, like they could be assholes in their real life, but we kind of see it. And it seems like some of the women, you can see some of their shortcomings too. This season, I beg to differ. And I don't know if the ultimate goal is to prove a point of trying to perpetuate the constant narrative that us as Black women are constantly fed in our media as far as how we should settle and just be happy that somebody wants to date us or be in a relationship with us, period, specifically Black men, that we should even be grateful. And I feel like this show perpetuates that message constantly. However, on TikTok, there's this girl that I follow. Her name is Talia. Love her videos. And she brought up a really good point about how this show is a perfect representation of what it's like to be over the age of 30 and single, a professional Black woman, and dating. I don't know what that's like. I'm clearly in a relationship now. And, I did majority of my dating in my 20s. And again, in a current relationship. So I know that that's what I'm hearing from my friends. That's what I see. That's what we're constantly being fed on reality TV. That this is really what dating looks like in our community right now, which begs a bigger question and showcases a much bigger issue that's happening right now in our dating system or pool. From a man's perspective, do you feel like it's the same way? Like, what are your thoughts on that? As far as what is it like dating, being a black man dating right now, over the age of 30?
I mean, to be honest with you, I feel men and women deal with the same thing. We both deal with people who are hurt, people who have not taken the time to heal themselves, people who have not taken the time to get themselves together, a bunch of people who feel like they need to be with somebody in order to get themselves together. We have a bunch of single people out here that are walking around with so much trauma, so much anger, so much animosity. And the key thing is, before you can get with somebody else, you need to make sure you're wholesome, make sure you're good, make sure, and you don't got to be 100%, but you need to make sure that you're at least on the path of getting yourself together, because it's not going to work. Like, trying to pursue somebody who is on the path of healing, or, the path of getting themselves together, and you're trying to pursue them and you've done not jack shit, it's not going to work.
You mean it, like, for yourself?
Yeah.
But you're trying to, yeah.
Like, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
And that's the issue that we have right now in society, especially in the black community. We have a bunch of men that want to be taken care of.
Who want to be a bad bitch.
We have a bunch of men, it's a oxymoron. We have a bunch of men that want to date but have trust issues. We have a bunch of men that date with their ego. When I say that, they feel they're entitled based on their looks or the amount of money they have. They're entitled to a certain type of woman without substance. Mm. From a man's standpoint, when it comes to dating women, we're dating women who are walking around hurt, ain't been healed. Some of them,
the lack of self-worth is definitely a topic.
Some of them literally, like I said, walking around as if, I don't know how to incorporate this, but pretty much they see what they see on social media with the fake butts, the fake physical features, all that stuff, and they feel they gotta have that. Like, that's gonna keep a man. It's not gonna keep a man.
But that's who the men are chasing.
Not all.
Right. I know it's like we're not having a micro conversation. Mm-hmm. We're talking about macro, right? Mm-hmm. We're having a much larger conversation, right? So we know that there are outliers with everything. So no, this isn't for all black women. This isn't for all black men. But when it comes to the palette of society right now, mm-hmm. and us, being so deeply invested into social media and it mm-hmm. really controlling our lives, that is what the standard of beauty is and has been for the last few years now. There is a particular girl, there's a particular Instagram prototype that a lot of men, specifically black men, are chasing after. And so then on the flip side of the issue, back to your point, then women are seeing that and feel like I need to be that to get for the male gaze.
Well, folks, for me, I keep a certain amount of males around me, and I can honestly say the guys that are in my life, they have verbally said they're not into that type of woman. Yeah. They don't want to deal with the woman that's out here getting all this attention for the wrong reasons, seeking attention and all that stuff. They're really not into that.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm not into that. I'm more of a low-key person. I'm not into women who are heavily on social media because I feel like they're far away from reality. And I feel like dating somebody like me, I like dating women who are on that social media thing. It gives them too much stuff to look at to compare themselves to others and all that stuff. It takes away everything natural about a relationship because they're too busy worried about what others like, how others see them, and comparing to the next relationship. I'm not into that.
And that's not a black woman issue. That's a society issue that's happening right now, right? So I agree with you to a certain extent. I think going back to Ready to Love, y'all, I feel like I say that to say my suggestion is that we cut this. And I'm not talking about us, I'm talking about cut this when it comes to the theme of the show. What I really liked about Ready to Love, the concept, was the whole idea of people over the age of 30, black singles, black professionals coming together and dating, trying to find their person. I feel like the show has completely lost its purpose. I think the purpose now is more of a malicious purpose. This is my opinion as a viewer. It's not landing to me. I also have heard the argument being said about how this is the best when it comes to the people that are applying for this show, specifically the black men. When it comes to all of the dating shows, Ready to Love, Love is Blind, Married at First Sight, all of those shows, I have heard that what we're seeing on TV is the best they got when it comes to black men. And if we're really having an honest conversation, I'm going to say something that I feel like y'all probably feeling, and I know we feeling the same thing. There are particular people or a certain type of person that will go on reality TV to find love. Now, I'm going to leave that there, and y'all can assume or feel however you feel. But I'm just going to say there is a particular person that will go on a dating reality show. And I will say that doesn't always end up being the best daters or the best person to be in relationships. There's that.
Well, I'll be sure to let us know how y'all feel about that last comment. Let us know how you truly feel.
Yeah.
Let us know how you feel about the show, the characters, everything. Let us know.
Yes.
Hit the comment section, interact. We'll interact back.
Yes.
Y'all be sure to watch this episode tomorrow. We will as well. To see more of the clownery.
Yes.
Any parting words?
No, just make sure. I really want y'all to please comment on this one. Just tell us, you watching the show, yes or no. You can give us that, and how you feel about it. And yeah.
Well, spring's coming early, people. Y'all get ready for the streets.
It is coming early.
Send them out.
Bye.